Welcome to another episode of Is This for Kids? I am Jonathan Beard of Blevins, father of 3, and I think that most media geared towards kids is pretty not good.
I'm Katie, MrsRuvi, and I am a mother of 5, and I think you can redeem most of the content that's out there for kids. But the point of this podcast is to give parents an idea, usually of what to shield their kids from, how they can shepherd their kids through conversations, and how to share in media. But today, we are doing a very special Green Lights episode, right?
We are. We are often talking about the redeemable qualities in media.
Yeah.
This is a green light episode. This is us saying, this is our stamp of approval.
Everything that we're going to tell you about in here is completely appropriate for kids so far. Yeah, so a couple of the things that we're going to talk about are episodic. So as of September of 2024, the content that we are recommending has not put out anything that we think any normal parent would object to. So if it, in 2025, they completely go off the rails, we don't take responsibility for that.
Not our fault.
Not our problem. We always get that. Do you get that where people are like, hey, we're going to have family movie tonight. What do you recommend?
Yeah, 100%.
All the time.
And now that people know that we do this podcast, I get asked all the time.
Yeah. Our good friend Andy Holloway that was on our fantasy football episode came to me and was like, hey, what should I watch with my 13-year-old? I was like, I got to keep these in my back pocket. And I was like, Twisters. The answer is Twisters. There was no limitations on this episode. We were just like, any content that you would say is safe for a kid, is appropriate for a kid. We've gotten roasted on Instagram before, but like, what do we mean by safe? It doesn't mean that anything that we're not talking about right now is unsafe. It just means we don't think that there's anything in this content that any normal parent that we've ever met would object to.
Let me set the stage for you, okay? It's a Sunday, you went to church, you're tired from hanging out late, having some vino the night before, and it's nap time, okay?
Great day.
And it's time for the kids to just go watch some TV so you can take an uninterrupted nap before we all watch football. Mm-hmm. What can they turn on and watch multiple episodes of? Or what video game can they play? Or what app can they use? Whatever, I don't know what you're going to talk about. Where you don't have to worry about something horrible popping up on the screen.
You want to go first with your first green light?
Yeah, I will. This is a show that I am not joking. I've reached out to the actors a couple of different times, the Kratts brothers, to see if I could thank them for just unbelievable content. So fun fact, they did a show, the Kratts brothers, called Zaboomafoo.
I know Zaboomafoo.
Back in the day. I had never heard of it, but a lot of my friends know that was them. They have a show called Wild Kratts.
Animated Zaboomafoo.
Spelled with a K, Ratts. That's their last name. And it's 2 brothers who travel the world. And the show is like half real life and half cartoon. And they teach you about animals and different animals. And they they get these creature powers from these animals and they can transform into them. And there's always a little bad guy who's trying to, hurt the animal or do something or steal eggs. And they become the animal and use their creature powers to save the day, all the while teaching kids all kinds of things about each animal. So they're learning about mammals and birds. And I am not kidding you, my kids know more about nature and animals than right now at the ages of 9 and 8 and 4 than I do. Yeah. And of course, more than I ever knew when I was their age. It's fascinating, and it's helped them in school. It's helped them understand concepts in science that they maybe wouldn't have, and they're fascinated by it. And I went to the Grand Canyon when I was a kid, and I was bored. I was on my Game Boy. Seriously, my kids are literally they have a trip. Matt, I promise you my kids are fun and cool too. We do fantasy football, we watch sports, they're really good at sports. And they have a road trip planned out for us to visit national parks.
That's so cute.
I'm that is the lamest thing of all time, but I'm also so proud of them because they're interested in it and they love it. And most of that comes from their love for Wild Kratts. So huge fan of it, absolutely love it. And it's actually fun to watch with your kids as well.
All right, so big green light there.
Big green light to Wild Kratts.
All right. I'm giving you my first green light is a podcast, okay? And it's called Firebreaker. Each episode is about 15 to 20 minutes long, so about the length of a car ride to school. I don't know what you guys do on car rides or if you do road trips or whatever, but we are a big podcast family or audiobook family.
Yep.
So something to listen to. And I grew up as a little kid. I went to sleep listening to books on little golden books on tape, the little ones. And they're when you hear the chime ring, turn the page. That was my favorite thing as a little kid. And Firebreaker is a little bit of a callback to that, but with a lot more of the theatricality. So it's the story of George, who is knight in the Roman army, and he grows up to become a dragon slayer. And so you get to hear this great story about George saving his village. He's orphaned by a dragon, and then he grows up and saves a village from a dragon. It's a really great story that encourages heroism in your kids, but more than anything, because there's no video component to it, it makes your kid have to use their imagination. But the sound quality is so good that it's so easy to imagine. Like, you hear the dragon growling, this like deep dragon growl that your car shakes a little bit, and it's great. Like, it's super fun. My kids really enjoyed it. It was a car ride to school thing, and they're like, are we going to turn on George? Are we going to turn on George? They didn't know the name of the podcast, which is probably bad marketing on my part, but like, they called it George.
Yeah.
So like, are we going to listen to it? It's really fantastic. Great for boys and girls. There's a
all
female.
ages.
Yeah.
Great.
Everybody is really, really cool, and it's super interesting. I thought it was really, really well done. There's also a comic book of it that I think you can get on their website. Firebreaker is the podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. Anywhere that you get your podcast, check out Firebreaker. I think it's 8 episodes so far, 15 to 20 minutes each. You'll love it.
OMG, who cares? Oh, women. I can't imagine how horrible your lives are. Get a hobby. Get a life. You're a white woman. You have no say.
I'm a grown woman. These comments on Instagram do not bother me, but your kids shouldn't have to deal with this. That's where Bark comes in. Silence that noise. Bark can help you to cut off the apps, the scary language, and it'll let you know if any bullying like this is happening to your kid online. Get the Bark phone or the Bark app. You'll like it.
All right, sweet. Well,
Beautiful.
I learned from you, so I'll be showing my kids that for sure.
It's great.
My green light. Now, I'm going to make like one disclaimer,
Okay.
but for the most part, it's pretty perfect for kids. So my kids do not get into video games a lot right now. We don't let them. They're not that interested. They've recently kind of become interested, and their friends are playing Fortnite. They're playing Minecraft. It's like, okay, soon maybe for us, but I don't want that to be their first game ever. So
Mortal Kombat.
No, not Mortal Kombat. It's actually NCAA 2024 just came out a couple of months ago. Football season just started. Even when this episode comes out, it's still going to be in the middle of football season. It's the first time since 2014, I think, that there's been an NCAA football game.
Okay.
And they nailed it. Every single Division I school you can be. The stadiums are perfect. The chants that the crowd does, the marching band is perfect. It feels like you're playing a real college football game, and it's so fun. Like, my boys play together on the same team, so it encourages teamwork. Yeah. They play in exhibition mode, so the one caveat I have is just be careful that if you play against somebody who's online, you can hear them if you have a microphone. The PlayStation controllers actually have built-in microphones and speakers now, so just know that as a parent. But if they're playing exhibition mode or just offline, there's nothing in there other than pure fun for your kids to play against any team, for any team. They can be the college that you went to against, one of the best schools. And if you put it on rookie mode, they can win. And it is like that. My kids were just, for the first time ever, they played by themselves. I was playing with them, and I could just hear them like high-fiving each other after the game. Zachary's like, Caleb, great job at quarterback, 4 touchdowns. And it was just so cool. And it's like they're playing a video game, but it's so much more than that. So if your kids are already into video games, I still recommend it. It's a ton of fun. It holds up and it's hype. And if they're not into video games yet, a great first game if they're a sports fan.
That's awesome. Whenever you describe your sons, how they interact with each other, my husband's like, what is wrong with our children? Because ours are more like, razzing each other at all times. So
I think it's just, that's a good thing. I think, but thank you. I think they do fight a lot, but I try to gas up.
That's good.
I gas up everybody, and hopefully that's wearing off on them a little bit.
Good. I like it. My last one, we got a lot of flack on Instagram because we were talking about safe content that you can turn on and walk away from, and you don't have to worry about it. And some of the people were like, oh, why don't you just parent your kids instead of expecting the media to do it for you? Look, people, sometimes we have to shower, okay?
Sometimes you want a 20-minute nap.
You just need the kid to sit still for 20 minutes so that you can wash your armpits, because my goodness, you haven't been out of the house in 6 months and you smell like sweat, okay? Anywho, my recommendation for that purpose is Gabby's Dollhouse. It's on Netflix. It's very little girl friendly. So I feel like a lot of media kind of has leaned away from the things little girls love because we want to encourage girls in STEM and all of those things. And yes, 100% that's important. But Gabby's Dollhouse is kitty cats and positive, encouraging messages, and you can do it, and let's play dolls together, and It's just light, fluffy, easy, no political commentary, no adults in the show. So you don't need to worry about, adult behaviors influencing your kid. It's just a little girl playing with dolls and then the animated version of that. So like she starts out, you see a live action girl and she's playing with the dolls, but then now we have an animated Gabby and she's playing with the dolls. Very cute, very sweet, lots of positive stuff. And my little daughter just absolutely loves it.
That's awesome. I'll have to show Kiara. She'll love it.
She would love it. It's very cute. It's on Netflix.
Look at us giving you some great things to enjoy or let your kids enjoy content-wise. Yep. We'll do more episodes like this, I think.
Yeah, if you like this or if you have a green light you'd like us to check out to share, please let us know. Go in the comments here on YouTube, or if you're listening to the audio version, you can check us out on Instagram.
Give us a 5-star review. Go to isthisforkids.com. You can just go ahead and gas us up on all the different social media links.
Oh my gosh, I would love a 5-star review. Hey, you already told them isthisforkids.com. There's so much content out there for us to wade through as parents.
I'm Jonathan Beard of Blevins.
I'm Katie, MrsRuvi. Let us help you decide.
Is this for kids?